Well, let's continue with that. If you've just joined us today on Channel, we're putting the spotlight on the state of South Africa's roads. Their deterioration is posing a threat to food security in the country and preventing the agricultural sector from being globally competitive. But eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu is in Johannesburg, and he joins us now live to give us more details. Manqoba, as you've been speaking to experts and even people in the agriculture sector, what are they telling you about the state of our road infrastructure and how it's affecting business?
Well, Masiko, a lot of motorists are telling us that, it's hard to drive on the streets of Johannesburg. And this is because of the poor road infrastructure, not only the issue of potholes, but roads that are unmaintained, roads that constantly are posing a danger to many of the motorists. I think one of the apps that we went to, which is the Pothole Patrollers, saying, Masiko, that they fixed about 515 potholes this month alone. And this just gives you a picture of how bad the situation is on Johannesburg's roads. We're in the city centre just a short while ago and speaking to motorists there who will tell you that they're quite frustrated at the poor state of the roads in the city centre itself. And this is the country's economic hub, so you'll imagine that there's a lot of economic activity, there's a lot of transportation that takes place in this particular city. So quite a number of frustrations even from the taxi industry, some of them who are telling us that they have to fix tires almost every week because of the issue of potholes. And just behind me here, we're here on Bears Nodia here in Cresta. Just behind us, of course, you can see some of the work being done to try and patch up some of the potholes. This is part of the team from the Pothole Patrol that are here trying to fix one of the potholes. Of course, they respond to an average of about 80 to 120 potholes a day here in Johannesburg alone, and that's as part of the work, just to try and fix those potholes. But joining me now, Maseko, just to discuss this further is Leighton Beard from the Automobile Association. Leighton, thank you very much for your time. Let's start here. You, as the AA, have labelled this year as the year of the pothole. How bad is the situation?
Yeah, I think we need to acknowledge that the situation in terms of potholes, not only in Gauteng but throughout the country, is extremely poor. Roads are engineered by specialists to ensure that there is a free flow of traffic, both motorized traffic and obviously people who walk as well on sidewalks. So it's not just simply a question of laying a piece of tar down on a road. There's a lot of thought that has to go into designing and engineering a road. And yes, it is very expensive. And the reason that we need these roads to be in a good condition, as your previous guest also said, Manqoba, is because it is such a important part of our economy. Trucks use those roads, people use those roads, pedestrians use those roads, and they use them for very specific purposes. They get to and from work, they carry goods, they carry people. So for those roads to be in a bad state of repair means that our economy will suffer, because all of those things I've mentioned are going to struggle to actually get to their destination. And unfortunately, the reports that we've heard and the reports that we get, not only from our members, but from the public as well, is that there is a steady decline in the condition and state of roads throughout the country. And that for us is a huge worry. And in addition to this economic issue that is very prevalent when the roads are bad, bad road maintenance also leads obviously to potholes, and that is a huge road safety problem. And we've already got a big problem in South Africa in terms of road safety, and this is just adding to that issue as well. So all around, it's really very problematic and incredibly worrying for the AA.
And Leighton, the government is saying that this is in fact not a pandemic, but as the AA, you are saying that it is actually quite a pandemic when it comes to potholes in the country. I know that you're also involved as far as some of the call-outs are concerned. What are you getting from the ground in terms of the situation in Gauteng? Are you seeing more call-outs with regards to the poor road infrastructure and potholes?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to quantify the number of potholes that exist in the country. There's various figures that are bandied about, but they're all pretty unscientific because I think it would take a huge task to actually go and count each and every single one of them. I think the overriding feeling that we have is that there is a problem with potholes in the country. They're creating bigger problems for a lot more people on a daily basis. It's becoming a lot more problematic from insurance points of view. People are having to claim for damaged tires and rims and other things that happen when they go through potholes. So definitely, I think that there is a growing sense that the problem is getting worse and not better.
And in terms of government intervention, of course, they're saying that they're doing their bit to try and win this war. Do you think that they're doing enough?
Look, I think the evidence behind you is that at least something is being done about it. And some of the information that we have been receiving from people is that when complaints are lodged, they do take some time to get dealt with. But some people are telling us that eventually they are being dealt with. I think the problem that we've got is that the numbers are so huge that it really requires a massive effort from all municipalities to deal with these once and for all. Now, the minute you deal with a pothole and it starts to rain, you're almost back at square one because that pothole may not be, it may just get bigger or new potholes may develop. So it's a question of ongoing maintenance. And there, I think, is where the issues lie, that funds from budgets need to be allocated appropriately to deal not only with potholes, but with road maintenance in general, with ensuring that street signs are working, with are up properly, ensuring that traffic lights are working properly, that road markings are clear, that sidewalks are cut, and that people have a place to walk instead of having to walk on the road surface itself. So that's all a question of road maintenance. And much of that also requires civil engineering skills. And I think that that's where, for us, a lot of attention needs to be given in terms of budgets and how much money is being spent to that. You ask, is enough being done? I think if there are still problems that occur in municipalities and problems with potholes persist to the degree that we are still seeing, then certainly more needs to be done and more can be done.
And just finally, how much a role do you think that, the political instabilities in some of these municipalities is playing, on issues of road infrastructure and the maintenance of infrastructure? Of course, we know that some of the municipalities are unstable due to the coalitions that are there. How big a role do you think that this plays?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question to answer because I think it's going to depend on municipality to municipality. We would like to see a situation where roads and road maintenance and the development of road infrastructure is not a political decision, but is a decision that the municipality makes for the benefit of its citizens. It's an almost impossible question to answer. When we see a proliferation of poor roads throughout the country, that remains a problem in whatever environment that is occurring to create that problem. And that needs to be resolved, whether that's a political decision that needs to be taken or not. I think most citizens would agree that at the end of the day, they just would like to see those roads repaired and maintained properly. And that is our perspective as well. Everything needs to be done to benefit the citizens. And where it's not being done, I think there's a problem. If that requires political intervention, then so be it. But it may not always be necessary to do that. At the end of the day, what's most important is that attention is given, funds are allocated, and these things are actually repaired when they need to be.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Leighton Beard from the Automobile Association, just giving us their sense as far as the issue is concerned. Of course, there are quite a number of people that will tell you that this is now becoming a daily nightmare. The roads in Johannesburg are in a state of disrepair and they need to be given attention urgently.
All right, Manqoba Mchunu, live for us in Johannesburg. Let's leave it there for now.